What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Comps channel. For today's video, we'll be going over the setup of our mapping tool. And I'll demonstrate this using Windows, since that's probably what most people are using. And if you're using Linux or Mac, you can follow along too, as most of this will be similar other than the part where we install Git. So the first thing we'll need to do is install Python, since that's what the script that builds the map uses. If you're on Linux or Mac, those usually have Python already installed, so no need to do this part. Now, Windows usually doesn't have Python, but we can check and install it if needed. To check and see if we have it, open up the Start menu and type in the letters CMD, and go ahead and open up the Command Prompt app up. Now we just need to type in the word Python and hit Enter. If we have Python, it'll just give us the Python version info in the Command Prompt window. If we don't have it, it'll bring us up to the Microsoft Store like we can see here. Then from here, all we need to do is click on the Get button and install it. After that's done installing, we can go ahead and close the Store window. Now let's go ahead and click back into the Command Prompt window, and we can hit the up arrow on the keyboard one time to bring up the last command we just ran, which should say Python, and if so, we can go and hit Enter. We should now see info about the Python version and other info. Now to get out of this, push and hold the Control key and Z at the same time, and then let go of those and hit Enter to exit. So now that we have Python installed and confirmed that it's working, we can download and install Git. Now info on Git and how to install it for various operating systems can be found on this page here, and I'll include a link to it in the video description. For Windows, we'll go to the Windows section of this page and click on the link for the Git for Windows installer. Then on this page, click on the download button here to download. Once that's downloaded, we can open it up, and if there's a pop-up asking yes or no, we can just hit yes here. Then once the installer opens, we can leave everything as the defaults and just hit next for all of the screens and then hit finish once we get to the end. Now that we have Git installed, let's head on over to the Github page for the mapping tool. And I'll include a link to this in the video description as well. So this page will have commands that will copy and paste to set up the mapping tool. Now let's open up the git bash prompt by opening the Start menu and type in git, that's G-I-T. And then we should see the git bash show up as an option. So let's go and click on that to open it up. To make things easier, let's split screen it by clicking and dragging this window to snap it to the right side of the screen. And then we'll select the web browser for the left side. Now let's go ahead and make the text on the Git bash screen a bit bigger by doing Control+ a few times. Okay, now on the instructions on the GitHub page, we can copy and paste the command for step 1 that we see here. Now this icon on the top right of the command boxes is a copy button, so we can just click on that to copy the commands. So let's copy the command on step 1 and then paste it into the Git bash window by right-clicking on it and selecting paste. And then go and hit enter to run the command. Once that's done, we can go ahead and close this Git bash window. Now let's go and open up a normal Windows command prompt by opening the Start menu and then typing in the letters CMD. And then we can open up the Command Prompt app option that appears. Now let's drag and snap this window to the right side of the screen. Now this is really weird, and maybe it's just my system, but I actually have to make the Command Prompt window full screen, and then I can drag and snap it to the right. Otherwise it freezes. I'm not sure why, but that's Windows for you. Now on the Command Prompt window, let me make the text a bit bigger first. Okay. Now let's navigate to the directory of the mapping tool by typing in CD, which means change directory, and then space, and then type in the word mesh. Then we can hit the tab key to have it finish typing for us, and then it should show CD space mesh-range test-map, as we can see here. And we can go and hit enter now. So now that we've changed to that directory, we need to set up a Python virtual environment. This is step 2 on the GitHub page instructions, so let's go ahead and copy that command and paste it into the command prompt window by just right-clicking on it. Now we can hit enter to run the command. Once that's done, we can move on to step 3 and copy the command for Windows and hit enter. If all went well, we should now see this venv in parentheses, as we can see here. This means that we're now in the Python virtual environment. Now we can move on to step 4, which will install the Python packages required by the mapping tool. So let's copy the command from step 4 and paste that into the command prompt window and hit enter. Give that command a minute or two to run, and once that's done and we're back to the command prompt with the venv, the mapping tool is all set up and ready to go. Now let's open up File Explorer and navigate to the directory where the mapping tool is, which will be located in your home directory, which if we look at the command prompt window, we can see the path here. So on File Explorer, click on this PC, then the C drive, then Users. Now on mine, since my username is just user, we see user here, but you'll probably have your username as a folder option here. Now one thing I like to do to be able to get to this directory quickly is to pin it. And to do that, we just right click on it and select Pin to Quick Access. And then we'll see it on the Quick Access list on the left side of the File Explorer here. Then if we go to that, we can now see the Mesh Range Test Map directory here. So let's open that up. Now at this point, we just need to place the CSV files from the range test into this directory. I have mine in the Downloads folder, so let's open up a new tab in File Explorer and go to Downloads. So here's my CSV files, and I'll go ahead and copy all of them. Then I'll go back to the tab for the mapping tool and paste the CSV files in there. Now that we have all the CSV files we want to use for the mapping tool, we can go back to the command prompt and follow the instructions and commands for the usage section of the GitHub page. Now, step 1 and 2 are already done, but be sure to do these for any future tests that you do on your own. We now just need to do step 3, which is running the Python script. So let's copy that command and paste it into the command prompt window. Once it's done, it'll tell us that the map has been generated and can be viewed by opening up the range test map.html file. So let's go back to the File Explorer window, and here we can now see this HTML file named range test map. So let's double click on that and it should open up the map in a web browser. And there you have it. You can now view your range test results on the map, and you can select different maps by using these radio buttons on the top right here. You can check or uncheck which range test CSV files you want to see on the map. And finally, we have a measuring tool that will allow you to take measurements of the furthest nodes to see what sort of distance you're getting. But that'll do it for this video, and I hope you found it useful. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so you won't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thank you all and have a good one.